Hello, welcome back, and good morning, folks. I hope you've been well. It's been a hot minute since we've been streaming. A little bit of holiday fun getting in the way. Never going to complain about that, but does throw a bit of a wrinkle in the schedule. And then had a busy last weekend, but enough with the excuses. We're back. We're live. We're here again. Sung Moon, good to see you. Melissa Lee, welcome in. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate you. How you been? How's it been going for you? I feel like I haven't seen y'all in forever, and that is by no fault of your own, but fault of mine. But I'm glad to be back. The coffee is warm. The weather is cold, actually. I didn't know it could do that in Houston. And we're back at it. So welcome in, folks. Sorry, I just noticed a new message on my screen. I was reading it. You have to be 18 or older to go live. I wish that was a problem for me. Not anymore. Anyway, Melissa, Sung Moon, folks, how you been? What's going on? Any new writing adventures lately? Let me know. Tell me about it. Hey, there we go. Melissa, you're 12,598 words into your new psych thriller. Now, I don't know if I've heard about that one. Tell me about that, Melissa. What's going on there? Rip City Gaming, you said tips for book promotion. Oh boy, man, I wish I could help you there. I'm not good at promotion myself. I understand it on a conceptual level, which is be where your audience is, be an active part of the community, mention your books when it is relevant without being too pushy about it. Beyond that, I think advertising between Amazon and Alex. 2 minutes and 7 seconds into stream, and I've already said a not good word. Oops. Advertise on websites where readers buy books is always a good play. It's a little bit of an evolving arms race there, so you got to keep up with it, though. Michael, good to see you, buddy. And Tide and Tara, welcome in, folks. Glad to have you today. How you doing? It's been a hot minute, and that's my fault. But I'm glad you're back in. It's good to see you. Michael, I've been meaning to say, man, I have a release date for Paragon 4 for you. It's going to be March 2026. So I know a little ways out, but they're finishing up the recording, but we have a release date. So hold tight, my guy. I can't wait to get it to you. And then it'll just be book 5, which is already done. Just got to get it recorded. Tide and Tara, how you been? Thanks for swinging back by. I know it's been a minute here, but glad to have you. How is your new work in progress going? I know you were working on something while you were querying another something, so let me know. Ooh, and you know what? Speaking of, I have I don't know if I can do that or not. I have a new book pitch that I'm shopping around to publishers right now, and I was wondering if I could read it to y'all on stream. Get your opinion. I don't know if that's cool. I don't know. Hey, look, until I get in trouble for it, we'll do it, huh? How's that sound? Sung Moon, you said I'm not writing anything other than schoolwork. Sorry to hear about all the schoolwork, but it's good stuff to do. Hopefully it's interesting, at least some subjects you're interested in. Isabel, welcome in. Glad to have you. Oh boy, so much chat. Let me catch up on all that. John Snow, hello, my friend. You said I've always had trouble figuring out names for my stories. I always want uniqueness. Or names for your characters. Yeah, it can be challenging. Honestly, I keep a name cache in my Google Drive. I just, like, when I see cool names, I write them down and keep them in there. But you also want to make sure your names are appropriate for the world of the story. So think about the various cultures and regions, etc. in the story, and make sure the names follow at least some sort of guideline, kind of real life inspiration for similar regions. Something like that. I think a mix between those two is a perfect way to do it. Demos, you said, is at the Dark Tower. Oh, behind me? Or Demos probably. No, it's actually the back cover copy for one of my books. But it is the Dark Lord's Tower, and it is a satirical take on that. So, you know, it is a Dark Tower. It is not Stephen King's Dark Tower. Froggy, you said if I dived into Brandon Sanderson's universe, you're about to start Mistborn. Hey, enjoy. I am not as deep in Brandon Sanderson's works as I'd like to be. Just don't find enough time to read these days. But there's so much good stuff to read. So I'm not that deep. So, you read a little bit in there, you're going to pass me. But I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. He's he's the king for a reason. Tara, you said you're on chapter 9 of the new work, but you keep looping. I know how that goes. It's challenging, right? Remind me what the genre and pitch is for the new one? Hey, Rafi, good to see you, my guy. Welcome back in. It's been a long time. That's on me. That's on me. I've been busy. But glad to be back. Glad to see everybody. How you been, Rafi? Hopefully getting some sleep, man. I'm hoping. Give me the good news. James over on Video App, how you doing, buddy? Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. Let's see. Melissa, yes, I asked for the pitch for the gist of your new work in progress. You said the setting is Pacific Northwest. The plot is the MC trusts her stalker. And you added, hint, she doesn't know he's a stalker, but the reader does. Oh, that's terrifying. I don't like that one bit. Which is not to say it's a bad concept at all. That is just deeply unsettling. So congratulations. You were going for thriller. I'd say you nailed it. Interesting. And Pacific Northwest is going to be perfect for those vibes, isn't it? So dark and moody. I love it. On Video App, Jake Hartman, my man. Good to see you. How you been? Happy Wednesday to you, buddy. Thanks for popping by. As well, James R5094 asked, how did you acquire your writing skills? A lot of reading. It was mainly a lot of reading and then just a lot of practice with writing. I read a lot of books as a kid. Still read a lot now. Not as much as I did back then, but that's because I filled a lot of that time with writing. Writing short stories, writing my own novels in the background, just kind of writing anything. Writing scenes for fun. The beautiful thing about writing is you just get better and better the more you read and the more you write. It really is work, effort in, and results out. It's wonderful. Jenna, hello. Is jealousy and envy common in the profession? I've not experienced that too much. Obviously, the author world has become very stratified lately. Publishers are taking sure bets on big name authors. So the result of that has really kind of been the reduction of the mid-list author, the kind of working author. You really instead have more of a strata of like the really big names, and then everybody else just kind of way down at the bottom. So obviously there's some jealousy and envy for, Stephen King, Brandon Sanderson, etc. But in terms of most of the authors that I talk with, or just, co-workers, you could say, we're all in this together. We're all generally just trying to get more readers in the world, so we very commonly work together, and it's been a great relationship there. Also, we're all weird in our own ways, and we get that, right? So we handle it well. Sleepy Boy said, how have I been? I've been good, my guy. How about you? I guess just been busy. Had a big hockey tournament this weekend that kept me driving all around town, but it was a ton of fun. And getting back to the work now. Titan Terra, your new work in progress is the Atlantis-inspired dystopian. That's right. How could I forget that? I love the concept. You said you're on chapter 12? I think you said. It's good progress. I'm sorry it's not coming right out for you, but keep working it. We know the deal. You'll get there. Jack Ann, good to see you. Welcome in. How have you been? I know it's been a minute. That's on me. But I'm glad you're back. Rip City, you said Discord invite. So it is in my biography. I think that'll get around TikTok not liking me saying the BIO word, but it's linked in there. And feel free to check it out. We'd love to have you. James, you said ChatGPT replaced my writing since it does work quickly. Should I worry about it? Yeah, I would not trust AI to write for me. It lacks the creativity, the originality, but most importantly, it lacks your voice. Your unique voice is what makes your story different and new and fresh. So it makes it interesting. And AI is going to take that away. It doesn't have your voice. That's the most human element you could have. Random sports fan forum said, "What's the price for editing, etc.?" Well, it depends on the sort of editing, and it depends on the level of editor. There are more prestigious, more experienced editors who can charge more, deservedly so. Going off of my current numbers, I would say to edit a full novel, just a copy edit with a working level editor, not someone who's super prestigious, not someone who's super new, I would expect to pay around $1,000 to have a novel edited. And that's going to be just for copy editing, catching typos, ensuring sentences run smoothly. That's not bigger work like what's the word here? Developmental editing or something like that. Albert, you said, is it hard to make money as an author? Yeah, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. There's different ways to go about it, but none of them are easy. And there's just so much luck involved. But that's the good thing too, you know. Every book you release could be the one that blows up and goes just massively viral. And there's something beautiful about existing on that in-between zone between status quo or is this next book just going to absolutely pop off and go nuts? I like that. I mean, I'd love to fall into the pop off and go nuts category. But until I do, I'm always one book away, and I think that's beautiful. Sorry, chat, you're moving so quick. I'm trying to keep up with it. Nafco, you said I have an idea for a book, but I'm rubbish at writing. Hey, only way to get better is to practice, right? And I think find the joy in it. Enjoy the writing as you do it. Don't worry if you're good or bad. Just write the story to entertain yourself. I think that's the most important place to start. And I think that if you come from it with like that excitement, that focus on entertaining yourself first, readers will pick up on that. Try that. See how it goes. Ellis Island, you said you're writing a book that's just Bloodpunk. The name is just Blood. Oh, so like the title is Bloodpunk. It's pretty sick. Fits into kind of the whole punk genre, cyberpunk, tech punk, magipunk, etc. Seems cool to me. I'm interested more in learning more about it. So that's a good title, I would say. Gives me kind of like necromancer type vibes or something. But let me know. Tell me more. Banana Man, do I wash my rice? No, I regret to say I don't. I don't know if it's a health thing or whatnot. Like, I know some people say to do it. I don't. But, man, I kind of grew up doing stupid stuff. Famously spent an entire camping weekend accidentally drinking water out of a retention pond because there was a spigot hooked up to a retention pond for some reason. So it can't get much worse than that, right? Melissa, thank you for the hot choco. Very appropriate. It's cold outside, so I am grasping my coffee very tightly today. Let me see. A lot of questions here. Love the great questions. Thorn, am I a full-time author? I am. That's what I do every day. Write books, sell books, hope that people buy books. So yeah, that's my full-time job. Luffy, when did I start writing? Middle school, but professionally, I started writing after I graduated college. I did freelance business writing, transitioned that into ghostwriting romance novellas for publishers, and then moved into ghostwriting full-length sci-fi novels for publishers, and then moved into writing books under my own name. So it was that was like a 4-year slide from freelance business writer to writing under my own name. Albert, how do people find my books as a smaller author? Good question. Obviously, streams like this are great for it because all my books are linked on my profile. You can see them there. They're all on the various book buying websites. I'm also experimenting with ads. Also, just The big book buying site named after a river in South America um, does a decent job at promoting your books when you release a new one, and it kind of pushes it to people that might be interested in your stuff. So that helps as well. But promotion is always the challenge. If I was better at promotion, I wouldn't be such a small time author. So, gotta learn, gotta get better at it. I'm always trying to improve that. Um, the ethic. How far out do you plan a book before writing it to make sure there aren't tons of plot holes? So this comes down to personal style. Some people like to plan everything in a book, plot everything in a book. Some like to write it by the seat of their pants. I, in the past, have been a light plotter, do skeleton outlines, I would call them. Now I'm experimenting with just figuring out as I go. It's an easy breezy type writing style, and I'm kind of liking it right now. Don't know if I'm going to stick with it, but at least for my current book, that's kind of what we're doing. So for that, I would say I don't plan the book very far in advance at all. I come up with basic stuff, though. Title, pitch, genre, core ideas. But that's all stuff that you just kind of let, you keep on the back burner, in the back of your brain. And then when you get to the actual writing, you're kind of ready to go with it. Mini Jim over on Video App. Do you have any groupies? I got some fans over on Discord. I got some readers that buy my book, so I appreciate that. And always get to see some smiling faces when I go out to local book fairs and stuff. But I don't think anybody that'd be qualified as a groupie just yet. Maybe one day. Jake Hartman, you said, are authors just gambling addicts? You're only 100,000 words away from fame and fortune. Hey man, you got to keep the belief alive, right? You could say we're gambling addicts in that way. I think we're all just trying to make more money. Just because you said, I love your green screen painting. Who's the artist? Thank you. So this is actually the back cover copy of one of my books. The artist is Ivan Shavrin. I'll put it in chat for you there. He has done my two most recent books, and I love working with him. He's an incredible artist. This one is for my book Wriggly Little Hands, which, here, I'll pull it up real quick. Here you go. This is the front cover, and my art behind me is the back cover of it. And once again, that's Ivan Shavrin is my artist there. Awesome dude. Absolutely love working with him. Let me see if I can catch up on these questions here. Sir PNT said, what kind of books do you write? I write fantasy and lit RPG. My fantasy varies. Let's see here. We'll pull it up. Some of my fantasy is really intense and like action focused, like Servant of Rage. Books 2 and 3 coming in that trilogy next year. Some of my fantasies are really goofy, like Wriggly Little Hands, which is a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip. And then I got a whole slew of lit RPG down here, and maybe some new stuff coming in that realm soon. But they're all on any book buying website, so feel free to check them out there. Anywhere you buy fine books. All right, let me catch up on questions here. Vic, you said, I've been struggling to create an outline. I know the basics I want, but I don't know how to structure stuff. Vic, try this. If you want to outline, but you're having trouble with it, try my favorite type of outline is a skeleton outline. So make a bullet point, or make a header for every chapter in your book. And then for each of those, allow yourself 2 to 3 bullet points that cover what happens in that chapter. Keep it brief, and just go through and write it out like that. Don't worry about the finer details. Just get 2 to 3 bullet points per chapter, and do that for each chapter of your book. I've found that's a really nice balance between planning everything without over planning. It puts me in the right direction so that I know where I'm going when I'm writing, but allows room for creativity as well. Give that a try and let me know how it works for you. Archivist, the book you're writing currently is myth punk comedy. Interesting. Is myth punk a genre I've not heard of? I mean, I can kind of imagine what it is, but it sounds cool. I'm getting like almost like a Good Omens vibe from it. American Gods type vibe. Let me know. That sounds cool. I'd love to learn. I always love to learn about new genres and stuff. Jon Snow, you said, my working book name is Century, then name of a specific book. Is this too generic or is it okay? So, John, the priority when naming a book is not to make it, I mean, you want to make it unique and stand out, right? But you also want to signal to your readers what genre the book is. So, what I would do is find your genre, go to any bookseller and look at what the top selling books are in that genre, look at how they structure their titles, what sort of words they use, and then parse that information to create a unique title for yourself. But like, if, for example, it's become something of a meme that if you're writing like romantasy right now or like dark romance, and probably this is a little outdated, but for a while it was quite a meme. The title was going to be like, you know, a crown of salt and glass or something like that, right? It was going to be a something of something and something. And we got inundated with all of those. But it's because it signals to readers what the genre is, and so readers immediately knew what to expect from the book. And there's a misconception that a title should be this amazing thing that like wows readers. Realistically, it just needs to signal to them what type of book it's going to be and get their attention. Thank you very much for the gift, Melissa. I appreciate that. My goodness, that was quite an animation. You're too kind. Melissa, thank you. I think that has to earn a goblin, huh? Maybe even two. You know the deal, Melissa. You give a gift, you get a gift, or in this case, two gifts. So thank you very much. These goblins are for you now. All right, so many questions here, folks. I appreciate that. Let me try to catch up. I apologize. Sura, you said, how did I get started? I was a freelance business writer, wrote copy for businesses. I eventually linked up with a couple publishers, and they needed romance novellas ghostwritten for them, so I did that. That got me in with more publishers, so then I started ghostwriting full-length novels, sci-fi mainly, and then I kind of transitioned from there to like my debut as an author. So just kind of moved through it naturally, I suppose. Meg H, good morning to you. How you doing this fine morning? Nice and cold and chilly out there? Tide and Terra, you said for self-publishing, I've heard BN and similar are better than APD. APD would be an abbreviation for... I'm not sure what APD is for. Yeah, I feel like I should know that. Let me know what APD is, Tide and Terra. I'm sure you've just put the letters because you are avoiding the TikTok filter. So just let me know so I can answer that. Just because you were I'm sorry, you asked this so long ago. You're asking if I could put the artist in chat. It's Ivan Shavrin. I just typed it in. Holy cow, that's so many comments. Let me try to catch up on this. Alyssa, good to see you. Welcome in. Is that dyslexic? Is that how that was supposed to be? Dyslexic Gina? You said a song of ice and fire. It fits the romantasy naming conventions. It does. It does. So much boredom said, what do you do if you're struggling with picking a tone? What I would do so much is find the tone that's natural to you. Write it in your voice. That could be the way you speak, or that could be the way that the words naturally flow to the page when you just write them. I find it's easiest to just write in your natural voice, and it's unique, right? No one else has your voice. I think that's a great way to tell stories. Let me get over to Video App. A couple questions there. Never mind. Nope, not questions, just spam. Let's see. Melissa Lee said, what feeling or vibe do you get from The Keeping? I'm not aware of that book. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Oh, are you asking me if that's a title that you're trying and what vibe to get for it? Okay, so I'm a little spoiled because I know what the book's about. But if I'm coming in just, with no other expectations, from The Keeping, I'm thinking some sort of like dark thriller. I'm thinking kind of a romance plot, but I'm thinking it's going to be more dark than anything. Like it's going to be a bad bad romance. That was not intentional. That's kind of the vibes I'm getting, but I am influenced because I kind of know what you're writing. But I still think that's I think it's a good title. What books have I made? So here's all of my book ones. These are available wherever you buy books, including, I don't know how to even say it. You can find the links in my biography on TikTok, but anywhere you buy books for the most part, you can find them here. Find them there. Stray Spaghetti, I love the name. You said, what lit RPG did you write? So I wrote the Nova Online trilogy was my first lit RPG. Rise to Glory, standalone. And then I recently teamed up with Luke Chimlenko to co-write the 5-book Paragon series right there, if I can get it out from behind my coffee cup. 3 of which are released, and book 4 is coming in March, and book 5 is done and just getting audio recorded. Thank you for asking. And I might be writing some more lit RPG in the future. We're gonna see. I'm working some stuff in the background. Frozen, you said, I haven't written a book before, but I do like to write. I'm working on my first book right now. I'm wondering if you have any random writing tips. I do, Frozen, I do. I'm glad you asked. First of all, have fun with it. Write to entertain yourself first. You have to be the first person that enjoys the story, and readers can tell if you're having fun when you're writing. So just focus on having fun. Write things that you think are cool and exciting. My second tip is don't start with books. Start with short stories. You can submit short stories to contests. There's tons of free, reputable contests out there. And writing a short story teaches you everything you need to know for writing a novel. It has a beginning, a middle, an end. It has characters and conflict and resolution. But it's all done in 2 to 10,000 words instead of 100,000 words, which is the length of a fantasy novel. So that's why I say do that first. Sorry, TikTok's telling me that I have a treasure box from my current live. I don't know what that is, so never mind. Fat Frog, what's my most... By the way, hello, Fat Frog. What's up? You said, what's my most unhinged writing tip? Okay, here's one. I think there's a lot more room for being creative and unique than we think. I'm talking so much of my career, I've been I must stay within this little writing box. This is what's normal, and this is how other authors do it, so I'm going to stay within that. And when I started just getting confident enough to be I don't know if this is going to work or not, let's just try it, I found some of my best ideas. So I think it's not the most unhinged, but it's kind of reckless, right? Throw crazy ideas, be it plot points or just ways that a character might talk, or ways that a chapter might end, etc. Maybe instead of having one POV character, it's an omniscient narrator POV, and you just hop from characters head to head, hearing one person's thoughts and the next person's thoughts. Let these crazy ideas into the story, because I think that's where you find really creative ideas. Don't let the fear of oh, this isn't what people typically do stop you. That's where my best writing has come from. Titan Terra, you said ignore the treasure box. All right, thank you very much. I will do so. I figured it was probably some TikTok thing that I am not aware of. Titan Terra, I like that title, The Drowned Crown. It's a little bit rhymey in a way that I don't like. Drowned Crown, kind of a bad mouthfeel. Seeing it written, I like it. At the very least, I think it's a very good starting point. Drowned is also a powerful word. Sean Mejias, is I pronounced? You said you highly recommend Warden. Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you very much. My wife still says it's my favorite book of hers that I've ever written. So I appreciate you recommending it, man. C. Joseph Baker, author. What's up, my guy? Good to see you back. I know it's been a minute since I've been live, but thank you for joining me. You said you second the short story tip. I'm glad to hear that, dude. I'm glad other people see the value of short stories. Oh, Coach, thank you, man. You added a couple of my books to your cart. Appreciate you very much. Thank you. Which ones were you looking at? What caught your attention? Sean, you're on a short story push right now while your book gets edited. That's the way to do it, man. When you got to send a book off to query to agents or to an editor, start on the next thing. It's the best use of your time. I love it, Sean. What's your short story about? You want to give us a little pitch for it? Me? You said, what beloved trope do you absolutely hate? I don't think there's many tropes that I hate. I'm kind of tired of, in the lit RPG world, everybody's fascinated with the overpowered main character trope right now, and I've just never liked that very much. It's very popular right now, and probably part of the reason that I'm just over it is I did just co-write 5 books with my buddy Luke, with an overpowered main character, so I'm kind of like over the whole trope of it. But the lit RPG crowd, especially Royal Road, seems very excited about that, and they're just gobbling it up. So maybe that one. Aaron, you said, out of sheer curiosity, is it bad to have the main character pass on before the story is done? Okay, so I have thoughts on this, Aaron. This is a very good question. I love stories that are brave enough to kill off characters. That being said, you have to understand why your readers are reading your book. A lot of people read as an escape. If you think most of your readers are reading for the enjoyment of an escape, they're not there to get their heart broken, then killing off characters is probably not a great idea, purely because while telling a good story, you also want your readers to enjoy their time reading your book and want to read more, and people don't enjoy feeling like they've invested a lot of time in a character only to have them killed off. Doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means if you do it, it has to have a purpose and it has to serve the story in an important way. Don't just do it as a cheap surprise or a cheap shock, you know? By the way, thank you for the follows, everybody. TikTok took away the follow noise for a while, but now it's coming back. So I love hearing that. I can tell when someone follows. So follows, I appreciate that. Thank you. Ooh, Oms me. You said instead of the drowned crown, the drowning crown has a better mouthfeel. You're spot on. I like that. Titan Terror, did you see that comment? I like that. The drowning crown. Thank you again for the follows. Let's see, more comments here. Have I read Name of the Wind? I have. I really enjoyed Name of the Wind. I didn't read book 2 because I know there's no book 3 and it's going to be a long time until there is, so I'm waiting. But I enjoyed book 1. Philip, you said, what do you think of the title Death Sworn? I really like it for the theme and story I was going for. It's powerful. It's definitely a powerful, punchy title. I think it might need to be... No, I think it could work. I was going to say I think it might need to be more descriptive, but I think if it's paired with a cover that informs a bit more about the story, it could work. What's the genre of it? Tell me the genre of the book. That'll help me determine it a bit more. Millie, good to see you. You said, oh, I'm sorry to hear you're not feeling well, but hey, hopefully you can hang out here and feel a bit better while we're alive. I appreciate you being here. Coach, you added Warden and Servant of Rage to your cart. Oh, thank you, my guy. I appreciate you. You'll be happy to know Warden's a finished trilogy. And Servant of Rage, I've sold the rights to books 2 and 3. Well, to the whole trilogy. So books 2 and 3 will be coming out next year. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you for trying them. I appreciate you. C-Dev, you said, I honestly do not like writing in third person. How should I do a non in first? Oh, how should I do a non in first? Feels weird. If you don't like writing in third person, then write in first person. Or you could do it a little more omniscient. It's a little more tricky, but like Terry Pratchett's a good example. He's done some omniscient books where the narration will just pop into a character's head, stay there for a minute, and when it needs to move on, it does. But yeah, first person or third person POV are kind of the big ones. You could write in second person. It's rare. It could be done though. How do I go about making art for stories? Asks my good old friend Ricky Doodog Rhymes. Good to see you, buddy. I hire artists for mine. So, for example, let's get the big cover up. Wriggly Little Hands was done by Ivan Shavrin. Awesome artist. Love working with him. But yeah, he also did this one for me. Free prequel novella to Wriggly Little Hands, by the way. If you want to check out what the story's about, you can get this through the links in my bio. Feel free to check it out. Totally free or very cheap on book selling sites if you want. Anyway, yeah, I hire artists for all mine because I couldn't do this art. Not at all. So, yeah. Thank you for the follows. Just saw more of those come in. Peyton, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I hope you are too. It's been a minute, but how you been? Omsme? Omsme. That's a tough one to say. I hope I'm saying it right. Let me know. You said thoughts on these apps that sell light novels one chapter at a time. Good for the writing industry? I don't care for them. I think that is a bad model for readers. I don't think it's nice to make people pay chapter by chapter. But I worked with one when Yonder hit the market. They picked up my back catalog, and unfortunately they didn't make it. So I tried there, and I was fine. I mean, they wanted to buy my back catalog to put it on there, so it was fine to have my books on there. But I just don't think it's the best model for readers. When I did the math, I was pretty sure readers ended up paying more if they bought it chapter by chapter than just buying the book, up front. So yeah. I'd rather do a Royal Road or just buy the book, flat out. Jacob, you said, did you sell your ideas for the right reason or because you couldn't get it out how you wanted? Oh, Jacob, I think you've misunderstood. I didn't sell away my ideas. A publisher purchased the trilogy, so they have now paid me in advance to write the rest of the trilogy. So I'll still be doing all the writing. I just have a publisher on board to do the audiobooks and the published books. Always helps out to have a publisher taking care of stuff on the back end. GG, you said, how do I convince my sister to draw art for a story I want to write? Well, I mean, if she doesn't want to do it, I don't really know if there's much convincing. But you could ask her nicely, and if she's interested, she might want to take it on. But I do know that artists often get asked to do things for friends and whatnot. There's nothing wrong with that, but it can inundate us. There can be too many when too many people are like, "Hey, can you edit this for me?" or "Can you draw this piece? It won't take you long." It could take a long time. So if she's not too interested in it, then I wouldn't push it. There's plenty of great artists you can find out there, though. Tide and Terra asks, do you have a fun Easter egg you add in each book? Yes, Tide and Terra, thank you. I like to put a lot of Easter eggs in, though. In fact, I challenge you, if anybody is very familiar with my books, I have snuck the 5 Ds of Dodgeball into 2 of my books now, and I'm very proud to have snuck it past the editor. I was for sure they would call me on it, but they did not. So hey, bonus points if you can find which of my books contain verbatim the 5 Ds of Dodgeball from that mid-2000s classic comedy. Philip, you said the genre for the title you asked about, Death Sworn, is a dark fantasy. A soldier dies, meets death, and they go on a mission. Yeah, so that's pretty perfect. I think the title would work. I would just make sure that the cover art conveys a bit more of that. It might be the main character standing in front of a silhouetted Grim Reaper or something like that. That's a bit stereotypical, but in that direction, if you paired art that was clear like that with that title, I think you'd be rocking and rolling, man. Like I said, it's powerful. It's punchy. I like it. Oh, Arbitrary, you said your mother's an author. Rock on. That's awesome. Congratulations. What does she write? Have I heard of her? She could be a big-time author, unlike me. I'm just a little small fry out here. Immortal of the Flowing Tide. Cool name. Dramatic. Sounds like a Magic the Gathering card. You said, how do you come up with character designs? 2 ways. So either I will come up with a completely original character and give them something really unique and challenging that I'm trying to achieve. For instance, if we go to this book down here, Rise to Glory, one of the characters in it, I said I want to make the most obnoxious, overconfident character that people will love by the end of the book, and that was kind of my challenge to myself, right? So that was how I created that character. If I'm not doing a challenge like that, I will pick an actor, a personality, somebody in real life who I like their vibe, I like their whole deal, and I'll try to write a character similar to that. I'll use them as inspiration, essentially. I think it's a really good jumping off point for creating characters. Also, remember, folks, always give your characters flaws. Characters are made interesting when they are bad at things and when they want something and need to get better as a person. They need to grow and change to achieve the thing they want. That's the crux of storytelling, is characters growing, becoming better, and achieving their goals because of it. It's called a positive change arc for your characters. You can have negative change arcs. You can also have flat change arcs where the character already is right and knows they're right but has to convince the world to see it their way. Those are more advanced. The positive change arc is both the most common arc for a character and I think the most effective. Or perhaps at least the easiest to do. I think it just... Oh, another hot choco from Meg. Thank you, Meg. You're Meg H. You're keeping me well loaded up today. I appreciate it. Immortal, you said no one likes Mary Sue's. Exactly. Syntax Terror over on Video App, you said you're just checking in to see what the counter's at. Well, I don't know if you've been here, but the counter is now not an animation, but we got a graphic. So the counter's at 68 presently. Haven't had any mentions for a little bit, but I'm sure we'll get some soon. Popeyes, do I know the Muffin Man? I don't, but I'm not a big muffin fan. Ask me if I know the Pie Man. I could love a good pumpkin pie right now. End of the year. Oh, Immortal, you were talking about character design, actually the design of them, the art direction. I'm not good. If it were up to me, I would use very little detail in describing my characters because I like their personalities to describe them more. I know readers tend to like a little more description. People have different tastes and takes on it. But I don't know. That's a weak area for me. I try to write them based on their personality and then go back and add in physical details based on how I've seen their personality shaping up, you know? Jasmine Seawright, welcome in. I hope you're doing better. Hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Also, on Video App, I gotta say syntax error. I think I called you Syntax Terror, which I like as a cool name, but Syntax Error is also solid. But just a quick little flick, I think I called you Syntax Terror. Krempo, she said, how does it feel to be named after a king? What king? What king is that? Zero, thank you for the follow, my man. I appreciate you. Frozen, you said flat character arcs are your absolute favorite when done right. They're very cool, right? They're challenging, though. I guess they kind of go hand in hand. It's a cool payoff, but it's hard to do. Can you think, what's your favorite flat character arc, like character in book that you've read recently? J. Rez Signo, you said, I have a hard time as a person with strong ethics with writing bad things my characters do. Well, totally get that. One, you don't have to go against what you feel is right. There's nothing wrong with writing a fantasy world that is better than our own. That's part of the escapism of fantasy. If you want, people can write fantasy worlds that are worse than ours, or better than ours, or similar to ours. So don't go against anything that doesn't feel right to you, especially because, like, you know, this is kind of what I was talking about earlier about, like, take creative risks, trusting yourself, because you can build a brand around that. Like, if people told Terry Pratchett or Douglas Adams that comedy doesn't sell well, and they went and wrote something else, they could have been successful there, but they wrote their comedy, and we know them for their comedy. Now they're standout comedy authors, right? So if you don't like writing characters that do bad things, or you like writing characters that have a strong sense of morals, it's fine to write that in. That could become your thing. You could be, the author that writes, books about good characters doing good things that are, an example to follow. Use the things that are interesting to you to make your personal brand, I don't know if that made sense, but I tried. Yeah, Noble Bright Fantasy, says Jack Ann. That's exactly what it's called. It's the opposite of grim dark fantasy. Rozzy, welcome in, you said. And by the way, y'all, there's a lot of comments, so if I miss your question and you really want it answered, please just ask it again. I'll try to get it as it comes through. But Rozzy, hello. You said, one day I hope to call myself an author. How do you find discipline to finish your stories? Good question, Rozzy. And first of all, I say if you have finished a story, you are an author. So finish a story, my guy, and you can call yourself an author. And that could be a short story. It doesn't got to be books. But the discipline to finish. So writing is like 1/3 passion, creativity, inspiration, and 2/3 discipline. And I think the easiest way to get discipline in your writing is consistency. Set a schedule for yourself. I'm going to write 3 days a week. Maybe that's your schedule. And write on those days every week. As if you do it more and more and more, it builds into a routine. It gets easier to do. Passion, creativity, that stuff's awesome, and it's wonderful to write when that's hitting you and you're excited and you're ready to go. But I guarantee you, it will burn out, and you'll be left with a half-finished story that you're really excited about, but you're not as excited as you were, and you'll question if you want to finish it or not. That's where routine, consistency, that's where that will carry you through the rest of the book. And also, if you set a goal to write 3 days a week, don't feel like you have to write 3,000 words every one of those days. It's okay if you just write a sentence, especially if it's a hard writing day and you can't really get it to work. Just write a sentence. Write a paragraph. Write what you can, as long as you write on the days you say you're going to. Tide and Terra. What's my favorite book that I've written? Ah, man, I get asked this a lot, and I feel like it changes every time. Wriggly Little Hands has been an absolute joy. It is such a fun, goofy book, and I just had a lot of personal satisfaction in writing it. I think that's probably still my answer, though. I've been living so long in the fun, goofy comedy headspace that I'm excited to get back to writing the sequel to Servant of Rage, which is going to be darker, more intense, more dramatic. So it's between those two right now. That's what I'll say. Thank you for asking, though, Tide and Terra. Bald, bearded Fae. Well, I fit 2 of those descriptors. What's up, my guy? You said this is interesting. As an apparel shop owner, how should you approach authors for a royalty collab? Man, I'm not good at merchandising. What I would say is work with them organically. Take your expertise as someone who knows apparel. Brainstorm with them about what are the most popular aspects of their book and what would do best. Maybe it be a quote from the book, or a character description, or just a chapter title, or the book title itself. Work with them on what they think their fans resonate most with, and then try to put that on your apparel. In terms of if you're asking about the economics of it, I'm not great at that. I would probably do some sort of split, just basically a percentage of each sale. You just split it. Probably my best answer. It's an interesting question, though. I've not thought about it too much. The fact of the matter is, an author has to get pretty successful to be able to sell merchandise well. It's hard enough just to sell books. So they need to be a decently big-time successful author for that. The One Real Green Man over on Video App said, I'm writing a superhero book. I'm starting a YouTube channel for it. That's cool. I like that. Oh, I'm not supposed to say the YT word. Oh, TikTok's gonna smack me with the ruler for that one. That's cool though, dude. I hope it goes well. I'm interested, document it live as you're writing it. Is that what you're doing with the YouTube channel? Tell me more. I want to know. Lovebug17, welcome in. You said, what's my advice for writer's block? For writer's block, set a timer, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and during that, while that timer's going, you have to be writing in the world of your story. It doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to be stuff you're going to keep in the story. You could delete it all when you're done, but while that timer's running, you just got to be hands-on keyboard typing. What I find is that kickstarts my brain, the creativity in my brain. And by the end of that timer, I'm ready to go. I feel like writer's block is truly just a struggle to begin writing. And if you just say, I don't even care if this is good writing, for the next 5 minutes, I'm writing whatever comes to mind. I feel like that is a sneaky way to get past writer's block. So give that a try, and let me know how it goes for you. That's what I do to get past it. Thank you for the follows, everybody. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you all coming by. I apologize if I missed your questions. I am trying to get them all. Taylor, you said, what kind of books do I write? And Ohio asked, what did I write? Well, here's most of my book ones. But I write fantasy and lit RPG, so you got my fantasy books up here, and my lit RPG. I keep going behind my coffee cup. Down there. But I like to write in those two genres. Some of my stuff's very goofy. I like this one. It's about goblins on a road trip. It's satirical fantasy. or very serious stuff. This is like Dragon Ball Z meets Highlander, I like to say, or fantasy Jurassic Park here with the Far Wild. So yeah, I don't know. They're linked in my bio if you want to check them out. They're pretty much every book buying site. They're there. They're also on Audible as audiobooks. This email never works. Hey, my guy, welcome in. Good to see you. It has been a hot minute. I'm glad to be back. Good to see you as well. How you been? How you been in that hot minute? Let's see. Bryson, you said, would I use AI to help me? I don't use AI for anything. One of the big reasons is I have moral issues, concerns with how it was created, particularly because a lot of the AI used for writing was generated, trained from stolen books, including my own, and many of the authors that I know and work with. I call them co-workers. They're not really. We're just fellow authors, but we chat, day to day. All of our work was stolen to train AI. So I'm still mad about that, and I don't think it's good for you. I think to get better at being creative, you have to practice creativity, and when you outsource your creativity to a machine, you're not getting better at creativity. What are my thoughts? Oh, Frozen. I love this, bro. You said, what are my thoughts on using a D20 as a writing tool for adding true luck and bad luck? Frozen, I love this. I have done this extensively, and I'm not for a whole book, but I'd love to. So I love using a D&D system to write. I will make a basic character sheet for each of my main characters, and when I have them in a scene and I'm not quite sure what direction I want to take it, I'm just going to go, you know what? Character A, roll an investigation check. Did you notice that ghost in the corner of the room? I don't know. Roll an investigation check about it, and let's see. I think it's a really fun way to write. It kind of gamifies it. And as the author of a story, you already know the story for the most part. You never get to experience what the reader does, where they don't know what's coming on the next page, unless you do something like this and you use, dice to help write the story. Then you get to surprise yourself a little bit. It's a lot of fun. Tide and Terry, you said, how do you find out if AI steals your work? There was a database. I don't remember where it was. There was a database that was put together during the lawsuit for the stolen works, and you could search in there, and basically every book on the internet was in it. I don't know anybody who dodged the bullet on that one. If you were selling your book somewhere, it was stolen. So yeah. Thundermoth, you said, I just finished the Wriggly Little Hands audiobook. It was a really fun listen. Well, thank you, Thunder. I appreciate that. They're talking about this book right here. I'm so glad you enjoyed the audiobook of it. Didn't Sound Booth Theater do an amazing job? When they sent me a sample for what they wanted to create for that, I was visiting family, and I sat out in their backyard and just listened to that audio sample like 3 times in a row. I couldn't get over how amazing it was. And then they delivered the final product, and it was even better. They're wonderful partners. I love working with them. Thunder, I'm so glad you enjoyed the book. Thank you very much for trying it. And please do leave a review if you can. Helps out authors like me. Callie, I don't know why you're saying that, but I did not say that. And this isn't a discussion of politics here, so no thank you. Patty, you said, hey there, I'm attempting to write a book by myself. I was wondering, better to write or to type? Whatever works best for you. Personally, I think handwriting is beautiful and organic. I also think it's very slow, and I don't like that I have to transcribe it into my computer. So I prefer to type. I actually have a typewriter. I really love working on that, but similar issues to handwriting. It's creative, it's fun, it's interesting. It is less efficient. If you're just doing it for your own enjoyment, you don't got any timelines, do what works best for you. But since I have to write to sell, I have to move a little bit quicker than that. But I'll still spend a day or so each week writing on my typewriter just for the joy of it. So really, it's whatever works best for you. However gets the book finished, go for it. Tide and Tara, did I see another one from you? Or did I imagine it? Oh my god, there's so many comments. Spencer, good to see you, my guy. Welcome back in. How you been? Let's see here. B. Bruno, if you get stuck, Copy a passage from a favorite author that session. You'll learn from it. Okay. This is interesting. Bruno, I think that's correct. Nothing against that. But I did have this great idea back in the day, 2 years ago, I think, that I was like, I'm going to spend a little bit of time rewriting. I'm going to just literally type word for word a chapter from the book that I'm reading from an author that I enjoy. It's to kind of get into their mind and see how they write and what choices they made. It's one thing to read it. It's another thing to type it out and write through it just like they did. I hated it. I hated it. It just really... I felt like the creative current flowing through the wires of my brain, and theirs just like hit and just explosion. It was a mess. I really disliked doing it. Maybe it works for you. By all means, try it. But I was so excited about trying that, and I did 2 chapters, and I was like, this is miserable. I'm never doing this again. Personal experience. Sir PNT, you said, what's your personal favorite book as of right now? Good question. Right now, let me look at my bookshelf, because I think right now it's The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I'm just a huge Joe Abercrombie fan, but I really have enjoyed his work, and The Devils is his newest book, so I'm really enjoying that. What about you, Sir PNT? Is it Sir Punt? Is that what it's an abbreviation for? Let me know. Dislike. I think it's Dilit, Gina. Gina. I don't know if I saw the question, so feel free to ask it again. Zero. How do you write a training arc without it being repetitive? Ooh, that's a fun one. I identify to yourself meaningful goals to be reached in the training arc. And have the character reach them, but not without failing first. They need to like attempt it, fail it, attempt it, succeed, and that's like kind of like your mini boss goal, and you're going to have a bigger goal, a true boss goal at the end of it. And the way you get there is by having the character take steps to improve, achieve meaningful things. Maybe they're trying to learn how to cast magic, right? Have them at first not be able to do anything, then have them be able to, like, make a little bit of light around their fingertips. Maybe a little spark comes out. Meaningful, visible steps like that, so that the arc doesn't feel repetitive, but it feels like progress is being made. You need to visually and internally show progress on the part of the character, because for a training arc to be successful, we need to know where the character begins and then see them grow beyond that and get better and better. Oh, Bits and Bots, you said not a question, but I loved Nova Online. My guy, I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Bits. I feel like I wrote, here, we'll pull it up for a moment. Assuming I can remember how to work my own stream. I feel like I wrote Nova Online so long ago that a lot of people don't, long ago in the book space, it was published in 2018, that a lot of people forget about it. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really had a great time writing it. It's this one here. This is book 1 that we're talking about. Thank you, Bits. I'm so glad you liked it. Who was your favorite character in it? And if you haven't, my guy, let me suggest to you my other lit RPGs right here. And I might have more coming soon. We'll see. But thank you. Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it. All right, let's see if I can catch up on these. Who would win? Asked Jack Ann. Gandalf the White or Avatar Aang? Avatar Aang for sure. Gandalf is not supposed to use his magic in big, powerful ways. He's about influence, suggestion, advice. That's the lore of the, what is he, Maiar? Is that what it's called? His demigod status. He's supposed to inspire and guide. Aang can just rip a mountain down if he needs to. Oh, here we go. Okay, Gina, here's the question. You said Heir's First Oath as a title for a grim, bright, low fantasy story about a young man seeking to reclaim his grandfather's noble title. Yeah, I think that could work. Heir's First Oath. It's a little bit... I feel like I'm tripping over it a little bit, but I often trip over words. I think that's... Here, at a bare minimum, I think it works. I think it could be improved, but if it were published under that title, I don't think it would be a bad thing. Now, I'm not the best at titles, so don't take what I say as gospel. But yeah, I like it. I like that the first oath in it implies to me growth, kind of an apprentice arc, right? And I think that's a exciting thing. I love thinking about a trilogy where someone's going to grow and get better, and thinking about that fresh, starting point where they begin from and what they're going to grow into. That gets me excited. So signaling that in the title, for me as a reader, I'd be like, ooh, I want to see that journey. Let me see. Sir PNT, you said, as of right now, your favorite book would have to be Jurassic Park. You finally got around to reading them. You've been obsessed. Oh, it's Sir Paint. Okay, PNT is short for Paint. I'm so glad that you mentioned Jurassic Park, Sir Paint. It is one of my all-time favorites for sure. That and The Lost World. I'm glad you've joined the club on that. They're good books, right? People always see the movie and enjoy the movie, but y'all, there's a good book in there too. Darker and scarier than the movie, in a good way, in a very good way. That's on my top shelf that you can't see back there, for my all-time faves. Love Jurassic Park. Artalk, you said, I wish I had the dedication to write. Got a few stories in my head, but getting them on paper is meh. Artalk, try this. Try to write them as short stories. Short story can be 1,000 words. As long as probably like 10,000 words, but as short as 1,000. Try there. Writing a book is like running a marathon. You don't just go right into it, right? You should work up to it. And short stories are your practice runs before you get up to a marathon. Mr. McFudge, you said, how are we supposed to think you're actually an author when you can't play accordion? How do you know I can't play accordion? Maybe I can. Maybe I got 20 accordions over there on the wall. I definitely don't. Advelios Archives. Hello, my friend. How you been? Still writing, I hope? You said short stories are really rewarding. Yes. Take it from Advelios. He writes mini short stories. They're really, really good. I love the world they're from. Short stories are great. User 245593 asked, do you have a favorite character from a fantasy book or series? Yeah, sure, totally. Off the top, let's see. I'm gonna do a recent one for me. Who are we picking here? I'm gonna say Sunny from The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. In a cast full of big personalities and crazy characters, Sunny is a very meek character, I think. But her internal monologues are really good, and I love the way she sees the world. And I think often you'll have a cast of characters where you have everybody's kind of neutral and you have one big personality. I think Joe Abercrombie inverted that here, where you have a bunch of big personalities, and then that makes the one smaller personality stand out more. So yeah, I'm going to go Sunny from The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. Melissa, you said, I don't know why, but I feel like you'd play the lute if you had to play any instrument. Look, I like lutes. I like flutes. I appreciate their portability. You can bring them anywhere and just bust them out and start playing. I'm a harmonica fan, though, too. I've always wanted to play that. I do play a little bit of guitar, and I was in orchestra for many years, so viola and cello as well. Can't stand violins. Too screechy. Too high-pitched. Give me that viola, that cello. I think those are the only instruments I've played. I played clarinet briefly. I guess there's a flute for you. McFudge, maybe I do have 20 accordions stacked up against the wall. I won't tell. I saw a question I wanted to answer. Jack Ann, you said, what do you think of more books starting in media res or dropped right into the inciting event? This could be wrong. I might be going against industry preference here. I prefer a book to start right in the moment. If we're reading a chapter, there should be a purpose to it. I don't like books that take too long to build up to something. Hook me with that inciting event right off the bat, and then you can explain later. But just give me, I want really briefly a little reason to care about the character, to find them interesting, and then boom, put them in the noise, put them in the mess. Get it going. That's what I say. I have had editors push back on that, saying that my books have started too soon, too soon, and too late. Sorry, started too late and didn't give the readers time to know the characters. But that's my personal preference. So You can go either way, but I like to jump right into things. Raffi said you are so tired. Your nights have been filled with basically a lot of dramatic dreams there. Man, Raffi, that's a lot, dude. I know you do the lucid dreaming. That sounds exhausting, my guy. Why is it so active right now? I'm actually going to call you Artox because I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But you asked, do you find book series tend to come in waves or a popularity thing? Wizards, vampire, demigods. You're talking about like tropes or themes. Yeah, they do, but it's primarily, there's two things at play there. I think you get sort of a collective unconscious happening. I don't know if it's societal factors, what movies are big, how people are feeling in general, but it does seem that separate ideas get developed separately by different people along similar lines. I don't know how it happens, but it's just like, you just naturally see like, you'll like go to your author friend. This happens to me, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm working on like this, vampire book with this, and this," and they're like, "Holy crap, so am I." We have not talked about it previously. I don't know what causes that, but it happens. So I think that's one part of it. The second part is when someone publishes something in that world, that theme, that trope, and it does well, publishers jump on it, and that's where you get the wave aspect. You have someone that had an idea, it got published, it did well. Everybody saw that success. And either went, ooh, I want that, and so they jumped on the trend to write like that. Publishers said, I want the next Game of Thrones, so they published their own dark fantasy, essentially. And then the third part is you have authors, readers, that read Game of Thrones, as an example here, and went, oh, this is really cool. I want to write like that. And then purely out of their own, artistic satisfaction, wrote their own story like that. So I think all those things contribute to these, like, waves of tropes that you get. It's complex, but I think that ties into it. Otter, you said the magic Italian foods. I have a food bar name because I was asking in a video about names for Italian magic foods. Yeah, hit me with it, man. Hit me. I got a lot of good ones from y'all, so thank you. Meg, you played viola, and Jack Ann, you loved the cello. Good choices, y'all. Good choices. Viola's just a mini cello, anyway. Manaroni and cheese. Otter, yes. Did you put that in my comment on the video? Because someone suggested that. I don't know if it was you or not, but I love it. It's so good. I'm pretty sure it's actually in the book now. Manaroni. Let me pull it up here. I'll tell you. We'll get a follow-up. I'll tell you what I wrote for that. Y'all, if you don't know, I had asked in one of my videos for people to submit names for funny Italian-inspired magic foods. So one of them that I got was fettuccine arcano. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it in here. I wrote it into the chapter. I guess it comes in later. Where is it? Manaroni was another one instead of macaroni. Can trip cannolis. I liked. Fettuccine arcano, as I mentioned already. I think there's like two more in here. I'm not seeing it, but I think there's a couple more in here. If I were to sit and look at it all, but yeah, so those are the main ones. I had a lot of fun with that, so thank you everybody for your suggestions. Oh, you're good, Edvelios. You're good, man. I'm just glad you're here. Hey, Jolisa, you said you went to an author event, and you got inspired. You might write your own story. Go for it. I love that energy. I feel like so often people get very like, oh, I'm going to embark on my grand creative undertaking. And I feel like writing should be so much more free and fun. It can be that big grand thing, but also just be like, I want to write a stupid little scene today. And just jump into it. Have fun with it, man. That's really, if we're not having fun when we're writing, what are we doing? So I love that, Jolisa. Go for it. Jackie Ann, you said there's definitely waves of nostalgia trends. Aragon was 20 years before Fourth Wing, as an example. Yeah, you're sure you're spot on. I think it's also the waves. They're like fashion. They're cyclical. We've had our vampire fiction with like Twilight and everything. It came, it went. I guarantee you, it will come again. Just wait long enough. It'll be coming back. Pun Pun Biscuit, you said, what program do I write on? I write on Google Docs. It's nice and simple. That being said, I own many writing programs. Scrivener is another one that I really like. I just find when I have access to all of the bells and whistles of Scrivener, I spend more time messing with those than actually writing. So I just open a blank Google Doc on Google Drive and write it chapter by chapter like that. Raffi, you said you're not sure why your dreaming has been so active, but it's a lot of new things at once. Doesn't happen too often. Well, I hope it settles down for you, man. But sounds like good writing material, right? Keeps the story interesting. Let's see. Max X Dax, Mad X Dax. That's a tongue twister. How cool does it sound for someone who's never read a book in their life to become an author? I mean, I think you have to. You could, but I think you kind of need to read what's already out there to some level to know how to write your own thing. I love the idea of coming at it completely fresh, but there is a level of like background research that I think is important to have. But hey, prove me wrong. Jack Ann, you got to go edit this. You got a deadline for editing to meet, so you got to run. No worries. Thank you for being here, Jack Ann. Always a pleasure. Hope you have a good rest of your Wednesday. Inferno YT over on Video App. Is there some scope for a person who wants to write common stories with philosophies like a classic? Look into the literary fiction genre. I think that's like literary fiction. Is kind of what that sounds like. A lot of what you consider like the great American novels of the past would fall into that category. I'd say look into that. But also, there's room to write whatever you want to write. It's a big market out there, and I think the innovators who are doing new and interesting things have a leg up on a lot of folks. There's nothing wrong with writing stuff that's already proven to be successful, but there's something to be said for innovating too, and chasing your creative passion. Frozen, you said having a book written as a journal, then switching to after-act report because a character couldn't... waiting on a part 2 there. I'll wait for that to come in. Let's see what else we got. Destroy and Dan, welcome in, my guy. Good to see you. You said, hey Alex, I hope you're doing well. The babies are almost here. Crazy, I've been following you almost a year now. It is crazy, isn't it? That's nuts. Congrats on the babies, man. Keep it going. Stay the course. And let us know. We've had one baby born in the time that I've been streaming. So maybe a few more. We're pulling for you, man. Fingers crossed. I hope all goes well. And it's a pleasure to see you. Happy Wednesday. Fat Frog, you asked, how do you feel about It Was All a Dream ending? I feel like they don't really exist anymore. They don't exist because they take away the satisfaction of having completed a journey. I think that readers buy into the stakes of the story, what the characters are risking to achieve things, and then at the end to say, actually, it didn't really happen and none of that mattered, feels like it robs the reader of satisfaction. And I think that's why you don't see those very often. We want stakes that matter. Mad X Dax, or Mad Dax, is there still a market for authors? You don't think it's going out of style with the new age? No, not at all. In fact, reading is on an uptick right now. We've had a surge in new readers, primarily among women, which nothing wrong with that. I believe historically women read more than men. It's like way out of proportion now. So we need more male readers. Just need more boys reading books, and I think a lot of that probably is because I think there's not as many authors writing books to like 12-year-old boys, essentially. Just because publishers are largely chasing what sells best, and those haven't sold best in the past. But I want to see more readers all the time. But no, I think the industry is doing pretty well. Publishing's always been a weird industry, but books are selling for sure. I know a lot of people that make livings writing full time. I mean, I do, but I know people that make much better livings than I do writing full time. Am I almost at 8 months streaming, Melissa? That sounds right. I started in like March or April. So yeah, we're getting there. Dove, good morning to you. How you doing? Happy Wednesday. Advelios Archives, you said, ever written something just for you? Maybe a short story? I don't publish to help. I won't publish to help with grieving. So, like, you're saying, have I ever written something just for me? You're writing a short story that you might not publish because it's helping with your grief. I've written several things just for me, but I think I've always hoped that they would be published, just because my dream has been to be an author. But yeah, I've got so many snippets and random chapters and stuff in the background that I wrote just for fun. I think if writing can help you in any way, by all means, go for it. I know a lot of people it helps with grief. Write it out, as we say. I like frogs. You said, what books have I written? So these, for starters, they're all linked in my bio, and they're sold pretty much anywhere that you buy books or audiobooks, but primarily fantasy and sci-fi. So we got fantasy up here, and lit RPG down here. So those are my two main genres, and if any of these look interesting to you, please check them out. That's how I make a living. I'd appreciate it. Jolisa, you said your boys and you read so much young adult and middle grade. They're working on their own book together now. Rock on. That's what I want to hear. I love it. I love it. What have they enjoyed in the YA and MG space lately? I'm a little out of touch with those spaces, so what's been popular with them? I'd like to know. Mad Dax, you said, what would you say is easier to start with, comics or chapter books? Chapter books, because comics require an artist. That being said, I think comics are a great way to practice writing efficiently because you have so many fewer words in a comic book than a book. But I think chapter books are easier to create because you can write the book, sell it to a publisher, and then they hire a cover artist and all that stuff. Whereas a comic, in order to pitch a comic, you typically need to have an artist that you're already working with. So a really industry insider info, I'd go with that. Oh, Melissa, that's how you know it's been 8 months, because your child, Rowan, is almost 8 months, and you found me when you're in the middle of your pregnancy. There you go. How's he doing, by the way, Melissa? How's he been? We need an update. Frozen, I see you're on video app now to put out your question that TikTok kept censoring. Yeah, great idea. Put it in there, and I will read it. Nicholas, welcome in. You said, do you prefer a redemption arc, villain to hero, or a corruption arc, hero to villain? I like both. I think redemption, if it's done well, is my favorite. But one of my favorite books of all time is Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. And we definitely get some decent people becoming villains in that book and their main characters. So I do love a good fall from grace arc. But I think redemption, I like those because the redemption, I love the idea of redemption coming later. What about you, my guy? Good question. Buff Nerd Josh. I love that. Dude, Buff Nerd is like my favorite kind of person. Absolutely. I'm a maniac about working out. I love Buff Nerds. You asked, what's The Far Wild about? Well, thank you for asking. I'll pull it up. And you know what? I have written official pitches for these books that I'm very proud of. So let me pull it up, and I can read you the official pitch for the book. That being said, the basic synopsis for it is fantasy Jurassic Park. I love Jurassic Park, and I wanted to write my own version of it in a fantasy world. But my official elevator pitch for The Far Wild goes as such. When a sky ship goes missing in the primordial jungle, it's up to an egotistical adventurer and a meek academic to lead the rescue, prevent war between empires, and try not to get everyone eaten in the process. You might be able to guess on the cover who the egotistical adventurer is. He's very much a privateer, pirate, bravado type character. He's very fun. Yeah, it's kind of like Jurassic Park in a fantasy world, basically. Thank you for asking. Jolisa, I asked what books your sons have been enjoying in the middle grade and young adult space, and you said Percy Jackson, of course, a classic. Magisterium, Alcatraz and Evil Librarians and Inheritance games. So I've only heard of Percy Jackson from there, but like I said, I'm out of touch with that genre. But rock on. Those are cool names. I really like Magisterium. That's a really cool name. Advelio, she said, any suggestions for low-pressure writing sessions? Stuff to break blocks or writing droughts? Yeah, so what I love to do for that is pick a setting from my world that I personally think is cool and just write a scene as if I were just strolling down the street there or sitting, maybe it's a library, and I'm just sitting inside watching what's going on. I think that's a really fun way to let yourself mentally inhabit the world of the story and just kind of have fun with it. I have a market in one of my stories that I think is really cool, and when I wanted to flesh it out, I just literally wrote a scene of myself just walking down the street there and describing what I saw and like what I smelled, what was happening. It was just a nice little enjoyable experience, you know? I think it's a good low pressure way to write. Frozen, you said on video app, TikTok kept censoring me. So my question was, a book written in the first person journal format, switching to an after action report because the main character dies. You could do that. But as I cautioned earlier in the stream, you have to be careful with killing off characters to make sure that it doesn't rob satisfaction from the reader. If it's done in a satisfying way that fulfills the story arc, think about like Saving Private Ryan. I think you lose your main character in that movie, but it's in a way that is very satisfying, although emotionally damaging. You have to do it like that. It has to mean something if you're going to kill the main character. I think the after action report could work. It's all just about execution. Really, any idea can work. It's just about how you pull it off. So I say, if it seems interesting to you, be brave and go for it. It's really just about execution. And the good thing is execution can be changed. Even if your first attempt at it's bad, you can go back and edit it. Take a second shot. The number of tries you have is limited only by the amount of effort you're willing to put in. Is Dune considered a corruption arc? I would definitely say so, Stinky Boy. Definitely. Hunter, you said sci-fi versus fantasy, which is better? I'm a fantasy lover. That being said, I do love a little bit of sci-fi too, but I'm on the fantasy side of things. It's going to be personal preference. What do you think, Hunter? What do you prefer? Thank you for the follows, by the way, everybody. I'm so glad TikTok gave the follow sound back. I can actually like respond to follows. It's very nice. Fat Frog, you said, what genre is Jurassic Park? Would it be a horror? Would it be horror? Jurassic Park, I would call it a tech thriller. That's what Michael Crichton primarily wrote. I would call it a tech thriller that leans and blurs the line into horror, because there's some pretty scary scenes in that, particularly in the sequel, The Lost World. But tech thriller is what I would call it. Because while it is about dinosaurs, it's also about the technology that allowed that to happen, which is what most of Crichton's books are about. Stinky Boy, you said, what actor would I assign to my my main character for The Far Wild, which is going to be this one right here. Who? Oh, actually, I know. Hold on, I'll pull it up. Let me grab him. I don't know the actor's name. Toby Schmitz is the name of the actor, and I'll pull up the character that I used as an inspiration when I was talking to my cover artist. Let's see if I can get this going here. I need to go to display capture and pull up this one. It's kind of tiny. Have you seen Black Sails at all? The character of Jack Rackham in Black Sails, played by Toby Schmidt, is spot on for the vibe I was going for with Senecio, my braggadocious, cocky main character in The Far Wild. In fact, I'm pretty sure this picture was used as inspiration for the cover artist. Like, I sent this to him in the packet of reference material for him to do the cover art. And his mustache is an exaggeration of Toby Schmidt's mustache there. Great question. Kyle Rules, you said, hey, I miss writing and haven't been receiving any new inspiration lately. How do you find yours? I find that inspiration is a wonderful thing when you have it, but when you don't have it, the best way to get it back is to keep pushing. Even if you're not feeling inspired, keep working on your story. That inspiration will return. There's just like a natural arc to writing. It happens to me. Everybody I know that writes, it happens to. For me, it happens at the 80% mark every book. 80% through every book I write, I'm like, God, this is terrible. I hate it. It's so bad. I want to do something else. And then I push through and finish. And by the end, I'm stoked again. And then I finish the book, and I go back and look at it, and I love what I've done. But 80% of the way through, I think it's the worst book I've ever written. Every time. Kuber Sharma over on Video App just sent a bunch of cats in box emojis and meow. So, hello, I appreciate that. Hey, and Chad over on Video App, you have contributed to the counter. Oh, no, you didn't. Never mind. You said I look like Andrew Tate. I thought for a minute we were going to get an Asmund Gold counter ticked up to the funny number, but not today. Close, Chad. You almost had it. Seraphex, I am an author. So specifically, I can answer questions about being an author. Here's my book ones. Most of these have sequels. I've been writing full-time since 2018. Yeah, trying to be the next Brandon Sanderson, maybe. That'd be pretty cool, huh? Oh, Kyle, you're good. Hey, Kyle, you got the book out, man. Wattpad is a great website. I respect Wattpad, Royal Road, Archive of Our Own. Fanfiction is good stuff. Or just web novels. Like, it's in its essence, I think it's the purest form of writing. It's very much like, it's one thing to write a story because you want to sell it. It's another thing to write a story because you just want to write the story. And Royal Road, Archive of Our Own, Wattpad, these are great websites to witness that. And I think it's just, that's raw creation right there. I love it. That's real life magic. I respect it big time. Mad Dax, you're over on Video App now. You said, I do have Asmongold vibes. I get that a lot. When I had hair, people said Andrew Luck, the retired quarterback. But I do get the Asmongold references a lot. Hence, our Asmongold counter. Yeah, keep going, Kyle. You got it, man. Yeah, inspiration will return, I promise. Just try to have fun with it. Just try to do things that are fun and creatively challenging to you. I think that also can jumpstart inspiration. Oh, Jolisa, you said Alcatraz and Evil Librarians, which you mentioned that your sons enjoyed reading, is by Brandon Sanderson. I didn't know that. That's cool. Rock on, man. I didn't know he had written middle grade or YA. I'm not sure which of the two it is, and the line kind of blurs. But rock on. That's sick. Woogie the Bear, welcome in. Good to see you. How you been, my guy? Nathan Braverman, same to you. You said if any of your books were made into a movie or series, would you prefer animated or live action? I love animation. I want it to be animated. Live action's cool, but animation is just like, I am in awe at the things you can do in animation and just the amount of work it takes, the effort of all those animators to bring stuff to life. No, I definitely want animation. Especially because, like, if we're talking, like, my most recent book, Wriggly Little Hands, this has got to be animated, right? Like, this is begging to be animated. So if any of y'all know any producers out there looking to pick up the next animated movie or series, may I propose my Goofy Goblins going on a road trip to save the Dark Lord. It's very goofy and work great in an animated format. I mean, look at that art. Come on, that's got to be animated. Advelios, she said, I'd watch a Wriggly Little Hands movie or cartoon. Loved the book. I appreciate my guy. I really do. Thank you so much. I'm working on the sequel. We're working on book 2. We're going to get it out there. Mad Dax, she said, animation can live on further than live action. I could see that. You still got cartoons from the 40s and 50s and stuff that look fine. It's animation, right? You expect it to look a certain way, and it's kind of timeless in a fashion, I guess. Free Bick, your favorite book is Hunchback of Notre Dame? I've never read it. I'm bad about some of the classics. There's just so many classics out there. What do you like about it? Why is it your favorite? My cat is meowing at the door. She's telling me it's time to end the stream for the day. We'll wrap up here. I'll take a few more questions and we'll call it quits for the day. But I will be back Friday, y'all. And if you don't know, if this is your first time here, thank you for joining me. But Fridays, we do something special around here. Fridays, 7 a.m. Central, we're going to be making a fantasy map live on stream. Here's some examples that we've made, and we're going to pick that up again on Friday. So please make sure you come back for that. But before then, Nathan Braverman asked, have you ever thought of making an anime-like book, like isekai, fantasy with OP powers? Well, Nathan, my man, right here. 5-book series that I co-wrote with esteemed author Luke Chimlenko. That is, it's actually System Apocalypse, which is similar to isekai, and the main character does have overpowered powers. So check it out if you want. But yeah, I might be doing some more lit RPG in the future. We're talking to some publishers. We're gonna see what's up. No promises, but I wouldn't mind doing a little bit more of that. At Velius, you saw Incarnate's dropping a new update, or dropped already? Yeah, Incarnate 2.0, right? I've already got it on mine. Last time I logged in, it was there, and I was like, oh god, it's gonna take me a minute to get used to all this, but it looks cool. It looks very cool. So we'll continue my bumbling exploration of Incarnate 2.0 on Friday when we make our fantasy maps. It's gonna be good. Ragnar Valaris, what a powerful name, dang. Ragnar, I feel like you work out, man. You got to be like ripped with a name like that, right? I love that. You said you just got Paragon on KU. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think about it. Books 1 through 3 are out now. Book 4 comes out in March. Book 5 is done and just waiting on the publisher to finish the narration so we can have an audiobook and simultaneously release it. But thank you. I hope you enjoy. Everybody else, thank you for being here. Thank you for my follows today. Thanks for asking wonderful questions. Really interesting questions. I can't wait to go back and pull some clips out of this because y'all asked some great questions today. So thank you very much for that. In fact, let me make a note to make sure I get these questions. Thank you for the lovely questions, for hanging out, for keeping me company on this Wednesday morning. It has been an absolute pleasure being here with everybody. The coffee's almost gone. And I've been going for an hour and a half now, so I probably need to get on to my work for today. But thank you for joining me, everybody. I appreciate you. Melissa Lee, Meg H, Advelios Archive, Sweeping Sage, thank you for being here. Joe Lisa, Nathan Braverman, Buff Nerd Josh, thank you guys. I appreciate you. Ragnar, everybody, thank you. Thundermoth, thanks for being here, y'all. And also Mad Dax on TikTok and video app. Frozen, etc. Everybody, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate y'all. I hope you have a good rest of your Wednesday. And I will see you on Friday at 7 a.m. Central Time. We're going to make some maps. Sir Paint over on Video App. Might work for your name. We're going to paint some fantasy maps up. Nice to meet you, my guy. An absolute pleasure. Thank you for being here, everybody. As always, let's do the outro. Got to give credit where it's due. A very special thank you to Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com for the use of his songs Farm, Manor, Cottages, and Northern Glade, which have provided our background music today. As well, a special thank you to community member Raffi the Engineer. You might have seen him in chat. He produced and composed our 5th background song entitled Midnight at the Round Table. Raffi, I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. As always, a shout out to my excellent moderators, Melissa Lee 28, Raffi the Engineer, One Happy Harpy, The Seth Ward, Aaron Winnick, other name wasn't available, aka Slendy, and Alicia T. I appreciate y'all. But chat, I appreciate you as well for not needing much moderation. Seriously, y'all, it's good vibes in here. You do a great job keeping it running. I appreciate you immensely. So folks, if you've enjoyed this stream today, please give me a follow. I'd love to see you on the next one. Check out my books. They're linked in my bio. And otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. When I see you again, it'll be 7 a.m. Central Time, Friday, and we're going to celebrate the impending weekend. So thank you very much for being here, folks. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've been author Alex Knight, and I hope to see you again on Friday. Until then, peace out, and be excellent to each other, folks. Y'all, have a good one.